Hello and welcome to my brand new YouTube channel. My name's Lee Foster Wilson and I'm an artist and illustrator from Cornwall in the UK. I've made the odd little video for my patrons over the last 6 months and I've really enjoyed making them, so I thought I'd branch out here into YouTube. So yeah, it's going to be chats about art process, art business, thoughts about my new kind of fine art direction that I'm taking alongside my illustration, things that are going on in my studio. In this video I talk a bit about making of that painting over there, which is like the first of a slightly bigger work that I've made in a very long time. So yeah, I feel like I'm at the beginning of something new, both here on YouTube and with my work, so I hope you'll come along for the ride with me. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I've started my vlog during my favourite month of the year, which is May. I just love how everything's blossoming, the days are longer and they're warmer, and to use a terrible metaphor, my artwork is also blossoming at the moment too. I've been wanting to make bigger art for a really long time now, and something about May has just stirred something in me. I'm just ready to get it done. The thing that started it really was having a project finish. I've been sharing a story over on Patreon for the last 6 months or so. It's a graphic novel story of a little girl called May and her quest to find a mysterious character called Smoke and the subsequent journey to make sense of something Smoke gave her. And that story's finished now. The instalments are all done, so I've printed off the pages and made this little book for my children. And now that's all over, I have a lot more time on my hands every week. So I took the plunge and I've bought some bigger art materials, and this A3 block and a board and some gummed paper tape ready to stretch the paper to make that slightly bigger art. I normally work on A4, so a step up to A3 feels quite big for me. But yeah, this is me remembering how to stretch paper because it's been quite a long time. But it went okay. It came out nice and flat anyway. And with the excuse that I needed to let that dry, I turned back to my little sketchbooks again. And I've been cracking on with my garden birds series. And I feel like these little birds, which I've been sketching for a while now, are a bit like a doorway to making that bigger work. I feel like they're helping me loosen up my style and find new footing. And because I have ideas that I'd like to explore with the new work, the fine art, that are about nature, there's definitely a link here. I've been digging deep and taking my time with these as it feels like I'm at the start of something new and I really want to get it right. But it's helped me getting the layouts done in Procreate like this. It's been really useful. So I take a picture of the piece I'm working on and then import it into Procreate and draw over the top of it. It just helps kind of solidify the layout in my mind before I commit pen to paper, as they say. Now it's at the end of the month. I've actually done 5 of these drawings, and 2 of them I redrew 3 or 4 times each, not including the sketches. So that's how much time it's taken and how much it means to me to get them just right. And actually one of them I'm considering redrawing because he's not quite right yet. I always feel like there's a certain amount of trepidation starting the drawings for real, like moving them from sketchbook to the final piece. And it feels like it might have all been a waste of time if I mess them up. I definitely feel like the sketchbook versions that I do first are a lot freer, and I tighten up a bit on the final pieces because of that worry that I'm going to get it wrong. But I have accepted that now and I'm moving on. I'm not going to beat myself up too much about it. I'll get there. It's a confidence thing. So I envision these birds as like a huge flock eventually, and I'm going to keep adding to them different birds. I started with ones from my garden, but yeah, we'll see how many I can do before I get fed up with making them. It's actually quite nice having something like this running along in the background, as it gives me a nice starting point that's actually working towards something finished. If I'm feeling a bit stuck or not sure what I want to make next, I can just turn back to doing this. So I can recommend a similar background project for that reason, something that you can pick up and put down if you need to, but it's also not something that's going to suffer if you can't get back to it for several weeks for whatever reason. There he is, that finished blackbird that I was working on earlier. So please excuse the state of my desk. I mean, it's really messy right now. I'm in the middle of stuff, so yeah, I don't tend to put stuff away. But anyway, here are 4 of the 5 garden birds made into cards. They arrived today actually, and I love seeing stuff come through with my drawings on them. It's just really, it's a really nice feeling. But so yeah, here they are, and I didn't get the pied wagtail made. I'm still not sure about that. I think I'm going to end up redrawing it. But here's the collared dove and the chaffinch, and that little blackbird, and the wren. And like, one of my favourite parts about making cards is choosing the envelopes to go with them. And I've got 2 here that I've not used before. This kind of, they call it kiwi green. I'm imagining they're thinking of those like yellow ear kiwis. But it's a nice colour, and it goes well with the little campanula leaves that I've got going on around the wren. And this mango for the collared dove, which is only like in the drawing in a tiny weeny bit, but yeah, I think it works. So there you go, new cards for the shop. Talking of cards, I've also done a lot of wholesale order packing this month, which has been great, although I would love it if I could just waft around making art all the time. There is the business side of my work to run too, so I spent quite a lot of time wrapping bundles of cards like this to send out to my stockists in my slightly chaotic order packing studio. I like to wrap up my wholesale orders really nicely because it's all part of the brand experience, isn't it? It's not something I'm super hot on. I think there's a definite could do better there, but I'm trying, and it really helps that I've got my own design washi to add to the parcels. It just kind of makes them a bit more Bombay Forest. So yeah, these little bundles will go in this box with some nice paper lining, and hopefully the stockists that receive them like the effort that's gone into it. So I'm not going to go on and on in this first video because, as you can probably tell, I'm still trying to find my feet with all of this. But you might be wondering whatever happened to that stretch paper. Well, here it is. So I did learn a couple of lessons in making this, which the first one is that one piece of paper on the board is going to be plenty. Like, I'm leaning over one of the pieces here to draw this drawing, and actually I'd have quite liked to have done this main drawing the other way up on the paper. I mean, it turned out okay in the end. And the second lesson is that I forgot to video doing the backgrounds. They're so fun to make, so next time I'll remember to do that and show you how fun it is, like smooshing all this colour about and making these brightly coloured backgrounds. So here's the making of the drawing in super fast time. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to make art this quickly? My goodness, I'd be so prolific. It's all done using pens because I'm still finding my way again with brushes. I used to paint a lot, and about a month or so ago I bought some new brushes and some gouache, and I started out trying little bits, but they weren't the idea in my head was not matching up with what was coming out on the paper. So yeah, when large brushes aren't working, thank goodness for massive pens. The ones I like using the best are Liquitex paint markers. I just really like them. I'll talk about them more another time because yeah, I just think they're really great. And I just wanted to clarify that I wouldn't normally sit down to draw a piece like this in one sitting. It would normally take me a few attempts, but because I'd done a version of this in my sketchbook previously, I kind of had the confidence to just go for it. Like the colours and the layout was already figured out, so I could just crack on and not worry about what to put where, and the composition, it was just ready to go. And it's been really fun to do, like really nice to make what I hope is like the first of lots of bigger pieces for me, and I'm hoping to make even bigger ones. There's quite a lot of ideas behind these big flowers, which I will talk about another time. I'm still kind of figuring out that in my head. There's lots of books and things that I've read that are informing these drawings. It's not just pretty pictures. And on the whole, I feel like it's gone okay making this first big piece. As I was translating a sketchbook drawing, I feel like I did tighten up a bit, but as I mentioned before, I'm kind of expecting that and accepting that, which means that in general, I'm quite pleased with this one. I will dig a bit deeper into the ideas behind this bigger work next time maybe, or maybe the time after, depending on how much I can get figured out in my own head, because it's always an ongoing process, this sort of thing. I hope you enjoyed my first studio vlog. I'm going to be doing them monthly. There may be other shorter videos in between, depending on how much work I'm getting done, I guess, in the month. But yeah, I hope you like the start anyway. See you soon.